in the community. It's brought to you by Clark's Pet Supply. Adam Deal here, now being joined by Josh Groves. He's immediately to my left, and then president of the Albuquerque Sol again, Ron Patel. Josh Groves with NMYSA. Go ahead and tell us what that's all about.
So New Mexico Youth Soccer Association is really the governing body for youth soccer in the state of New Mexico. We are affiliated with the United States Soccer Federation. We're also affiliated with United States Youth Soccer. And we have approximately 20,000 players registered under our umbrella. We have somewhere around 20 leagues across the state. It fluctuates from season to season. And we provide governance. We run the National Championship Series, which is in New Mexico, is the State Cup tournament. My job as the technical director is really to run the coaching department for the state association. And so I'm responsible for coach education, coach licensing. We have a program which is a national program, which is a player program called the Olympic Development Program. And we run that, which is geared towards elite youth soccer players. But generally speaking, we provide governance and support for 20 or so member leagues all across the state with players aged 4 to 19.
So I think you're the best person maybe to talk about what we were just talking about in U.S. soccer, and because you know from the ground up, from here specifically in New Mexico, but I think every state then has this issue. You said 20,000, that's incredible. Let me ask you this, do you think we're sending our best players from the 20,000 that go through high school into college, the best players are actually getting out of the state of New Mexico?
Yeah, probably. I think we've got a system here in New Mexico where the best players are in clubs, youth soccer clubs, and those clubs have high-level coaches, licensed coaches working with those players generally from 12 through to 18 when they go off to college. And so for the most part, the best players are in those clubs and go from club soccer into college soccer.
Let's give, you know, just a fake player, right? Let's just say somebody is playing for a poor high school team that really doesn't do anything, just not a lot of talent, they can't really do anything, and they're not noticed. Okay, and then take that same player and say he's fantastic, but he plays for a mediocre club team that doesn't make it really out of his group in State Cup, doesn't go to regionals, right. The team's not really a good traveling team, and just couldn't afford maybe to play with a higher level club that's doing fantastic. Does he get lost in the system?
Potentially. There's avenues for players like that, but yes, you could make a strong argument that the players who are not low income, not from low income families, get more opportunities. And that's part and parcel of the structure that we have in the United States. It's a problem. It's not the problem. It is one of many issues that impacts player development. I think when you look at that issue, the idea that kids in the United States are part of this, what we call pay to play. Everybody pays their own way, and that's not a great situation, particularly for the kids that you just mentioned. Not everybody has the money to do that. But when you look at the bigger picture then, you look at issues like we have a closed system in the professional game. So you take the model in Europe and South America, and the funding for the best players, the elite youth players, comes from the professional clubs because they're interested in investing in potential...
It's an investment almost, right?
Exactly. Investing in potential future players for their
It's
team.
almost backwards. It's like you got to pay, and then one day maybe you could be good.
Absolutely. Yeah, parents are putting in a lot of money for the idea that they might become professional. But that's a problem because the pro clubs have not invested enough yet, and our pro leagues are closed. So you can't get into the MLS without paying, I don't know, $100 million for a franchise fee. Yep. In every other country, there's a system of promotion and relegation.
Is this like American stubbornness, Ron? I mean, is this? I mean,
it's the American way.
If we want to be good, and how this sport is developed, I mean, it's making money. it's starting to make money, and viewership on television ratings are huge, and people want soccer to be successful here in the United States. Is it time for maybe the American, we have to do it the American way to stop?
It's the American way of doing it, yes. And there's a lot of people out there that say we got to go to promotion and relegation. I just don't see a way that the MLS team owners who've paid, some of them got in really inexpensively years ago. But you've got a lot of these guys that have recently paid $50 to $100 million to get in the league. Why would they allow some team that paid $3 million or whatever the price is for a lower league to get into that next league up? It just wouldn't happen. So there'd have to be a new system created outside of MLS for promotion and relegation to happen. I'm just not sure.
What do you think the next step is?
I think we need to think outside of the box. I agree. The MLS owners are not going to agree to promotion and relegation. So we have to think a little bit differently about player development, providing competition for our players, and where does the funding come from to create programs for perhaps lower income, underserved communities. Mm-hmm. It would be hypocritical of me to sit here as a professional youth soccer coach and say, pay to play is a major problem. I make a living coaching youth soccer, and many good coaches do. But there are many issues that impact the level of player that makes the national teams, and you guys were talking about this earlier. When you look at Iceland and you look at a country with a population of 330,000, how are they able to put together a program?
They've really invested into their
Exactly.
program.
They've invested in resources, they've invested in getting licensed coaches, working with young players, and that's a lesson that we could really learn from. Right now, you look at the level of coaching across the country and in New Mexico, and we're not good enough. We don't have good enough coaches working with younger players. And Ron was talking about technical development, and you suggested Beckerman is weak technically. What was interesting when you compared with the comments of the Seoul players, they were surprised at the technical level.
Which I was surprised to hear about.
Right. For me, we're so focused on this idea of our players aren't technical enough. I think we've got some good technical players. Yes, perhaps not creative enough on the ball. We'd love to see more players that can dribble a bit like Messi, or they can open teams up with a creative pass. But what our best players, I think, are really lacking is a great understanding of the game. They don't make decisions quick enough about where to move and when to move there. They don't understand the game to make good decisions about who to pass to and how to pass to them. So there's so much game understanding that our best players are lacking. And I think that was really reflected in the US-Argentina game, as well as the technical deficiencies for a couple of the players. Even our best players don't think quick enough.
You were at that game too, weren't you?
I was at that game, and from a US perspective, it was miserable. From an Englishman who went to watch Messi play, it was a joy. I think we're so focused on this technical development piece, we've lost a little bit of the game understanding. What allows a player to make high-level decisions in half a second, which separates him from the average player? And we don't have enough players that understand the game at a really high level.
We can go on forever about this.
Mm-hmm.
We're running out of time here. So I want to thank you, Josh Groves, for coming on. Again, of course, Ron Patel, always doing a great job. Real quickly, want to remind everybody that the Las Vegas Mobsters are coming into town. You could check them out live at UNM Stadium. We'll be there with ProView Networks as well, but it's going to be a lot of fun, fireworks after. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. That'll do it. This was Soccer Talk with the Soul. It's all been presented by New Mexico Pinon Coffee. I'm Adam Deal saying so long.